So, welcome to the next Boss Books Masterclass live coaching. Lauren is with us here, and I know many of you are going to be watching the replay. And today we're talking about something that is adjacent but very vital to your book. We're going to be talking about speaking about your book, whether it is speaking at a coffee shop or speaking at a bookstore, speaking on a stage, whatever you need to do to promote your book, it's likely going to involve you talking about it, right? And this can be speaking at a women's retreat, a men's retreat, hosting something at your home. There's no limit to the formats. What's important is that you've got the skills to do online and offline speaking. So I've written an ebook called Confidence on Camera. And it also is mostly related to stages, but I'd like to go through two things. Number one is kind of the presence part of it. Number two is kind of the speaking preparation tools, because a lot of people cite public speaking as their number one fear. In the UK, it was 98% of people's largest fear. They would rather go swimming with sharks than step in front of a live audience. I don't know if you've ever heard that. But I'm like, if it's true in the UK, it's probably the same in the States and Canada and South Africa and all of the European countries, and other places that our beautiful Boss Books community is tuning in from. So, shall we just dive in? Let's start with warming up. How do you get ready to be confident on camera? How do you get into that space where you feel like an elite athlete and you do stretches and training to get in the zone? It's the same thing for speakers, right? Whether you identify as a speaker or not, you need something that counts as your warm-up routine. So for some people, they do jumping jacks. Maybe you're singing in the shower before you get on stage, really opening up your throat chakra. Maybe it's going for a run to run out those nerves. For Tony Robbins, he always does an ice bath at home and then he jumps on a little mini trampoline before getting on stage. For me, right before I do any kind of video or live broadcast where it's not intimate and I feel a little bit edgy, I offer myself a lot of movement, and in particular, the medicine of shaking. So there's a song called Ajaja, and it's this tribal drumming from Nigeria. It's a YouTube video, and I just go and I shake I set a timer for 3 minutes, and then I go do my hair and makeup because you're gonna be all shaken up, right? But dancing, shaking to a high energy song, primal beats, it really resets the energy of your nervous system. So the number one warm-up routine that I can say, like if you do nothing else, do some shaking. If you're at an event, go to the bathroom in a stall and shake and jump. And it's just an anti-anxiety tool. It's the number one anti-anxiety tool on the planet. Yes, there's mindset work and it's great for pre-relaxing. There's breathing, but this intuitive flailing and shaking gets to the animal core of you. And we know there's a reason that there are no traumatized antelope out in the wild. The moment after a herd is chased by a lion and they all survive, they just shake. They're like, "Whoa, we made it. Okay, what's for lunch? Let's go get some grass," and they get on with their peaceful grazing day. So that has always stayed with me as like, okay, I'm nervous, I'm gonna shake. And that vibrating just really, really supports. So Ajaja Drums of Passion. Drums of Passion on YouTube, look it up. It's gonna get you to that higher level or whatever song energizes you and gets you awake. Just turn it on, and that's gonna be so supportive. So that's number one, shake, shake, shake. Now we're gonna go through some vocal warm-up exercises that an actor friend taught me. And she does a lot of like Netflix voice acting for stories. And so your voice has to be super honed and tuned in to do voice acting. It's not just being on stage or on theater, but the number one thing you can do is a jaw release. Many of us don't realize how powerful the jaw is, and you have a lot of muscles that hold tension and trauma in your jaw. And the emotions that are most commonly held in the jaw are fear and anxiety. So If you're public speaking or going on Zoom and you want to feel more confident, do this. This is a jaw release. You take your hand, form it like a V, put it over the bottom portion of your face, and just pull your jaw down. And then you're going to let your tongue stick out and maybe make noises like you're at the doctor's having your tonsils checked out. So go like this. Ah. And it looks funny, but it really works. Hold it for 10 seconds, let go, smile. Feel free to try it right now. If I'm looking silly, you might as well too. Ah, okay. And then you want to massage and feel the release. Blah. So this is your jaw release. And just remember you have that V. It's kind of like a shark. If you're remembering Jaws, yeah. How does that feel, Lauren? So good. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe how good that felt.
Right? So
Uh-huh.
you're releasing anger, tension, and fear and anxiety of all sorts. And if you go right here, sometimes it feels painful. So just be gentle with yourself, but know that you're releasing a lot. So, ah. So that's the number. I guess number two, shaking, but humming is another simply a powerful technique that I really want to encourage you to try for vocal warm-ups. Humming is a sacred thing, actually, and it is really a way to fast track adding a rich vibrance to your voice, no matter how tired it is to start off with. And a lot of world-class singers use humming because this is the real deal. So to begin, I invite you to close your mouth and make a humming noise for 10 seconds with me. Okay, we're gonna do it in five, four, three, two, one. Hum. So you can feel your face mask vibrating. And what you want to do is do that about 5 times. And then also imagine you're sliding up and down the scales of a piano while keeping up the sound. Okay? Mm. And really feel the vibration in your face. Do it a lot louder than I'm doing right now. If you want to add another level of pro to it, touch the middle of your nose so you can feel the vibrations and see how much of an amphitheater your face is. And see how much energy you can get flowing so you really feel that buzz in the middle of your nose. All right, so we've got humming. We do the jaw drop, drop it. And then, yes, Lauren, humming is so great for your vagus nerve. It is a healing frequency for sure. And toning, the whole world of using sound to heal yourself. So feel that. No, it sounds funny. If you're in a public place and you're preparing to speak, you can hum really low and you can still feel the face vibration. And you allow the noise to reverberate in the mask area of your face, and it makes your voice sound more resonant. And being more resonant gives that natural brightness that is alluring. So, who doesn't want to be more alluring, right? So, it's going to wake up your voice, make it shine brightly, whether you're live or on camera. So, like we said, we shake, okay? We do your jaw release, you hum, getting into your epic energy. And I want to say one thing. When you are on camera, like I am right now, there's about a 40% fade out of your energy. So I don't want you to speak like you would face to face with a friend. I want you to bring your energy up and about 40% more dynamic than you would just chilling and talking to someone live because there is like a fade out effect. The camera does lose vibrancy. So when I say epic energy, bring it. Okay. So you're warming up your voice, but you're also giving yourself permission to crank up. Remember, 40% more. And if you sound silly, it's not going to come across as silly or like over the top on camera. Know that it's just going to be vibrant and you're going to be more dynamic. So crank up your energy, hum it, And then there's one more vocal warm-up exercise I'd like to equip you with to shine while you're speaking about your beautiful book. And it's important to know that a lot of people go through life without realizing they have more than one voice. Okay, we all have a head voice, high, like, oh my gosh, really? That's so intense. I'm speaking in my head voice and it's really up high. And then we have a chest voice. And this is a place that is warmer and it's more inflection. And then you can go really deep into your belly voice. And this belly voice has a completely different tone and it is way lower and it's extra resonant. And you can train yourself, whether you're using yoga, Kundalini yoga, you can really, really access different voices that you have. If you speak from your head voice up top, you're going to be less reliable. People are going to think that you don't necessarily know what you're talking about. And not just if you have vocal fry, if you're up here, people are going to be like, are you annoyed? What's happening? Are you untrustworthy? And this is all happening at the subliminal level. The problem is a lot of women in North America and the Western world have been taught to mask their voice. And one of our members, Becca Vanderberg, is an expert at helping women, especially, unmask their voice. Because in order to be seen as not a threat, in order to be seen as socially desirable, a lot of women speak in their head voice and then they add vocal fry, this kind of like jitter, and then they do a third thing, which is ending on a question. How are we doing today? Is everybody ready for this? Like, what? Da 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 da. And I can't really do it because I've trained myself so hard not to that it's hard for me to even give an example. But when you end on a question with that upper intonation, it's not something that we want to do in public speaking. So this is the whole, it's a whole world. Many beautiful books have been written on the art of unmasking your voice so that your real voice can shine through. Okay. I hope this is landing. I hope this is giving you something to further research outside the scope of this short little chat we're having. Because when you do all of these tools and when you learn to unmask your voice, people receive the transmission of your words in a whole new way. And I get comments that I cherish so deeply, like, wow, your voice on this voice note made me feel relaxed and hopeful and giggle, because when your voice is activated, your speaking isn't just landing on a mental plane, it's landing on the heart, it's landing in their auric body and having an effect on their other bodies besides their physical body. And that's what I really desire for you to be, that multidimensional powerhouse that I know you can be and are. And it's just about taking off the layers and amplifying, right? So humming, it sounds simple, but you're literally opening up the dimensions of your throat chakra. Think of it like an accordion, something that you can start small and then you can like unfold it. So this last one is called Baba Sheep Talk. And this is all about trying ba 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 for 30 seconds and considering this like as low as you can, a challenge. So basically, it's saying ba 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 as low as you can, putting your hands on your belly, another hand on your chest to feel the resonance. So we can do it together. And let's just do it for, 3 seconds. Ba 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 ba. And then get even deeper. I dare you. Ba ba ba. And now let it really open up. We opened up our jaw. So see how much resonance you can make right there. Ba, ba, ba. And then go deeper still. Ba, ba, ba. And you can make all different sorts of noises and really open up the instrument of your voice. Are you feeling it?
My neck popped as I did it. It felt like a chiropractor adjustment.
Amazing. I know everyone's going to have different reactions, but I love that It's popping off. Okay, so ba ba ba, the sheep talk. It sounds juvenile, but it's so effective. So we do all these silly things and we allow it to be what it is because we are tuning the instrument of ourselves to share our messages. Public speaking is so raw and vulnerable because we're sharing parts of our heart. And if we're at work and we're sharing a report or someone else wrote it, it doesn't feel the same as sharing our messages. So that's why I want to equip you with these tools to tune the instrument of you in a professional and polished way. And so you can divert yourself to focusing on these tools rather than going over the talk in your head and stuff like that. So just to summarize, we talked about shaking. Ajaja, the drums of passion is a great YouTube video. Just move it to the right, the middle, and just start shaking to those drums. And then we have vocal warm-up exercises, the jaw release, humming, and the ba ba low sheep talk. Okay. So I'd like to provide a few more tips for anyone who has nerves or just looking to up their game. What if I freeze? So the greatest fear that people that I coach, they're like, but what if I freeze? And the mere idea of freezing up or blanking on stage or on a Zoom call can make them refuse speaking opportunities or like doing live broadcasts and Instagram lives on socials. So as part of on-camera prep, I always encourage people to remember that if you freeze up, or you feel like it's so obvious that they're nervous, then you are allowed to say that out loud. How revolutionary, right? Just say that. Oh my goodness, I feel like an ice cube. I'm so frozen right now. You have full permission. I'm here to give you that permission slip. Here it is. Boom. Share your feelings honestly and then say, oh my goodness. For example, hello, I'm Emily, and I'm feeling so nervous to be here on stage speaking with you from my heart with all these bright lights. This is a lot, and we're gonna go for it anyways. So time and time again, this kind of vulnerability is really gonna save your ass because it's gonna be met with cheers of encouragement. Like these total strangers in the room, or maybe a few people know you, but they're gonna be like, you've got this because they want you to win. They're there because they want to hear what you've got to say. And just admitting you're nervous works like a charm every time. I remember I was working with a branding expert and she did her first ever Instagram live, but she was so sweaty. Her palms were all like classic wet and she wanted to back out. And instead, she remembered she had permission to be a human and just to speak to it. So she pressed that red live button and she broadcast. And the first thing she said was like, hello, my name is Sharon, and I am so nervous about blanking out. And they didn't think she was less of a pro. They didn't think she was less qualified. They cheered her on in the comments, and the flood of messages came in the chat box, and people stuck around for longer than they probably would have because they just wanted to support her. So, owning up to our humanity is a huge part of being in those coffee shops, on those big stages, in those humble gatherings around a fire. We just set aside the idea that we're instantly going to feel comfortable, that we're like a news broadcaster. That's not helpful. Plus, all that vulnerability is a really powerful connector. So, it's going to make people feel like, oh, yeah, I'm here because she's got wisdom and she's human. And that's a really beautiful way forward. I think that's like the new way, right? The other way to get out of your head is to remember this is one of my favorite all-time tricks. I literally have it on my fridge, and it's like, it's not about you. So when I'm worrying about my outfit, oh my gosh, all this postpartum weight, does this make me look fat? Like, oh my goodness, are my boobs held in enough? Like, what is happening here? I'm worried about me. And then I'm like, no, 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 no. This isn't about me. This is about the message. This is about the book. The book has its own energy. The book has people it would like to speak to. The book has messages that it needs to convey. And I am but the humble messenger, right? I'm like the mother dropping the kid off at a soccer game. I'm here to provide the transportation, the vehicle, and the opportunity for the event to happen. And the event is not me. I'm a vessel. Of course, I do matter, but it's actually not about me. So take a moment if you would like and just write down on a sticky note, it's not about me. Ha! And there's so much freedom in that. You can just be like, oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. I was all being like, am I professional enough? Do I have enough qualifications? There's no waiting. And there's no need to stall and there's no need to procrastinate because it's not about you. It's not about how good you look or whether you're wearing the right clothes or if you have the photo shoot done, like whatever BS that we wrap ourselves around in. Like, oh my gosh, everyone who's professional has done all of these things. And until I do those things, no. If the book has something else in mind, it's going to take a different route and it's going to look like a different product. So remember, it's not about you. The book has its own wisdom, its own graphic design packet, its own everything. Does that feel like freedom? I hope it feels like freedom. All right, one more thing that's really important for the in the moment stuff. So we talked about prep and now we're more in the moment during the talk. What if I freeze? What do I do? Talking to one person has saved me so many times. And what that means is you just need to think about one person who needs to receive the message. And that saves you in a few ways. Number one, if not a lot of people show up, you're like, that's cool. One person needed to hear the message. There were five people. So I did amazing above and beyond. Ha ha, winning. So if one person and then five more show up, you're just above and beyond. You're about there, one person. Who is the person who needs to hear it most today? And you focus on them and you talk to one person. That means you're talking to the audience like a friend. And that means you're talking to them from your heart. And yes, you're bringing that 40% more energy, but it is intimate. No matter how big the audience is, let it be intimate. And that means giving anecdotes, telling your story in a way that brings them into a scene to illustrate what you're talking about. So, talking to that one person as a confidant, bringing them into your world. There's a whole lot that ripples out, and I could go on and on about this, but the point is speak to that one person, and you're going to do an amazing job at delivering that talk. And maybe your talk is just why you wrote this book, and then you're going to read a chapter, and then you're going to answer questions. And that is a totally viable format. Telling about the experience of writing the book is a great way to let them in the world of the backstory and then the journey birthing the book. Then they'll understand what it's like and how much it took. So, yeah, just wanted to share that. The final nuggets that I'd like to talk about are actually more on the digital side. So, when we are getting ready for a podcast interview to borrow an audience, right? That's our strategy inside Boss Books. One of the big ones is BAA. Speaking of ba ba ba, it's borrowing an audience. And we're going to be speaking on people's platforms who have our ideal reader, our ideal client in their audience. That's why we don't have to have a massive social following to have 10,000 copies of our book sold in the first year and make on average $150,000. That's the goal. So you got to be on camera. How do you feel ready for this professional setup? How do you create a space where you're like confident to show up and be like, yes, I am the author of this book. Here is my book, you know? Actually, I'm going to get you a copy of my book. Hello, I'm Emily Bauman, the author of the poetry collection Salt and Honey, which just came out this week. And what I did to feel confident about having Zoom calls and podcast interviews is number one, focus on my lighting. So you want to do two things. Either sit in front of a window and have the light flooding your face from a window, lots of natural lights, the best, or make sure you have a ring light. And so a ring light can look as simple as this small little one and just have it centered near where your camera is and have it right on your face so that there's no shadows to the right or the left of you. You don't want either side of your face to be in shadow. Shadows automatically mean mistrust and a little bit like hiding stuff, and it doesn't look as polished. We want to see your eyes and we want to see your eye color, and people want to see all the subliminal things happening in your micro expressions. They don't know they want this, but they want it. They want to feel connected to you. And so you gift them that connection by brightly lighting your beautiful face. Lighting really matters. The thing that matters almost as much is your background. Now, Lauren helped me recently blur my background just a little bit. And you can do that on Zoom in the background effects. I have found that it was life-changing because I didn't want mega blur. I feel like I'm hiding my room if it's too blurred, but this soft, gentle blur is great. And then you want to keep your background either very clean or have things that are on brand. So, if you're a gardener, you're going to want to have a lot of plants back there. If you are into crystals, you want a shelf with different crystals and prisms and things happening to showcase yourself. When I do podcasts, I often have copies of my book. Okay, visible, like that red book right there, Born to Write. So I have a bookshelf with different things that are all on brand. And my brand colors are pink, white, and black. So I'm wearing my brand colors just because, and gold. So that's a lot, I know, but the background and then what you're wearing, just make it be on brand. What does that mean for you? Um, Whatever that means for you. Wearing your brand colors is pro. Yeah. And for me, it's effortless because these are the colors that I wear anyways, like on camera or not. That's my wardrobe. And I know a lot of you are the same. You're like, I look good in emerald green, and that's just what I wear. Or Lauren looks fabulous in leopard print, and we know she loves to wear it on her book cover and all over the place. So when you connect with your soul essence and you're just emanating it, you're going to see that there's a coherence in your life. And it's really fun when you're like, oh, my Instagram feed and my clothes that I'm wearing and my book cover and everything just flows together. So I encourage you to reflect, what are my colors? Are my brand colors recent? Do they fit me right now? So that everything can feel like this extension of your soul into the world, your book included, right? Look, gold and black. And the other colors that I was considering were pink and white. And there will be special editions that have journal prompts and are in those colors. That is for another day. Any questions so far, Lauren?
I just commissioned my best friend, who's an artist, to do a big piece for me that I'm going to use to cover my window instead of the curtain. So I'll have to like take it down, put it up, depending for when I'm on camera. I'm
Mm.
just so excited to have all my brand colors and leopard print and gold and things like that behind me because I want to paint my wall. I love that you have a pink wall behind you, but I'm only temporarily here. So
Yes, I love that. Oh, I'm excited to see that artwork. It's going to be gorgeous, I'm sure. Yes, having backlighting is one of the worst things you can do. So having light coming in behind you is really, yeah, it's what we would like to avoid. So it's better to have a dark background and you be very fully lit and present. It's a trend right now to have very dark backgrounds with neon lighting on shelves, like little LED strips, and you can get them on Amazon. But you don't have to get fancy. It can just be clean, decluttered, and on brand. So, closing up here, the last thing I'll say is a question I get all the time is this one. Do I have to be extroverted to be good at speaking? Do I have to change my personality and like act all bubbly when I do public appearances? Because I hate that. So I work with a lot of introverts, a lot of sensitive souls, people who have been through a lot of stuff. And the answer is no, absolutely not. And there isn't a rule that says introverted people are not bubbly. I'm a 100% introvert and I'm very expressive, as you know, but in short bursts. And then I go and I need to be my own energy. But you don't need to change your personality at all to be on camera. What you do need to do is dial up your energy. And so that means the intensity of your presence. That's how I would interpret it in this now moment. Maybe I'll have a better definition tomorrow if you ask me. But it's just about how focused, deliberate, maybe a little bit louder volume when you're speaking. And giving those intentional pauses is so good. When you say something really important, you want to underline it by giving a pause after, allowing people to digest it and be like, oh, okay. So the equivalent of bold underline when you're talking is silence. Remember that there is power in the pause. Power in the pause. I have power in the pause. So remember that, repeat it. There's power in the pause, and it means that you are taking up space in silence. And that can be terrifying for a lot of people, right? When you're just starting out, you want to use the power of the pause at two places. Like I just said, you want to use it when you're underlining something really important or something dramatic that you said. Let it sink in. If you was like, I was 16 the first time that I was held at gunpoint, thrown on my living room floor, and thought I was going to die. And I didn't have an experience again until I was 19. But that second time was worse, So like when we say something dramatic, it's like, oh shit, oh, but give it space because if you run on, la, 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 people are going to be like, oh, that was intense, but was it really? Did it matter? Because she's going on and like, does it matter? What? So allow people to digest the important moments. And the second place you want to use the power of the pause is when you enter the room for the first time and take to the stage, whether it's physical or whether it is on camera. If someone is introducing you, and next up we have Lauren Faye. You want to walk up on stage, grab the mic, and survey the room like a boss, and then say, hello, great to be here. And that sets you up as someone who's like, she is ready for this space. And like I said earlier, you can say, hello, I'm Emily Bauman, and I am absolutely terrified by these blinding lights, and I think I might pee my pants before the end of it, but we're gonna do this. And so it's okay to be vulnerable, but just give yourself that landing. Land your entrance with a pause. This is a pro tip that I really, really hope you use because so many times people jump in and then they rush because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to forget what I was going to say. I have so many things to say and to get there. And so, and you can tell that they're nervous, that they're jittery, they're not in their body, it's ungrounded, and people then feel nervous for them and it's uncomfortable. We don't want that. We want people to be cheering for you if you're nervous. And you can get there just, like I said, say it. And then they'll cheer for you. They won't be as on edge, just empathizing. Everyone's empathetic. So, just to recap, we have our opening exercises, right? So, shake, shake, shake. Ah, and you want to hum, and you want to go ba ba ba. And then you want to remember this isn't about me at all. Really, I'm the vessel. And you want to give yourself permission to look fabulous, but it's not really about you. So it's okay, no matter how you look, no matter what your voice does. And you want to make sure that you have amazing lighting, whether it's in person or not. Have your background be sleek and in your vibe, in your soul essence colors. Feel good. Blur the background if you want, or just have it. Like if I was going to show off my books, I wouldn't blur the background. I would want people to read the covers, right? So all of these things, pause for emphasis, land your entry with that moment and know that dialing up your energy and your presence doesn't mean you have to change who you are. We're not here to act. We're here to be as authentic as we can. If you have a dry humor, keep it dry. Don't worry about offending people. You don't have to be funny if you're not funny. If you have a soft voice, just say, Oh my goodness. I have such a soft voice, and people often wonder if I'm 6 years old, but here we are. I'm doing my best. Just own whoever you are, and people are going to love you for it. Trust me on that piece, okay? Well, that was my little confidence on camera ebook in a nutshell. I hope it landed. I've taught people at the United Nations how to do this, and they were terrified. Like, remember this little French guy was literally shaking because he had to give a speech to the entire police force of the Sudan, and he was just like beside himself with nerves. But these things worked for him. He got the speech out. He didn't die. He didn't forget anything, and it was fine. So if he can, if my little Adrian can master this, so can you. Ah, well, thank you so much for your time, Lauren. Thanks for tuning in live. Really appreciate your presence here.
Yeah, that's so great.
Mwah.
I know we're over time, but I most liked also how simple it could be, why I wrote this book or what my experience writing this book was. Here's a chapter. Now ask me questions. Like so simple.
Yes. Permission slips for simplicity always.
Yeah.
And you know what? The story itself, if you're trying to land clients into a coaching program, we can add in a few things and we can talk about that maybe in a part two of how to give a speech, one speech over and over again that lands you clients in your coaching programs using your book. We talk about that for sure if you're interested. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
it's amazing how we can drop like how to sell without selling.
Oh,
And I would be a student to your lecture on that for sure. Lecturing on
beautiful. We'll do
what I'm
story
saying.
selling part two.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. Thank you so much. If you're watching the replay, leave a comment so I know you've seen this, that it served you, and catch you in the next time. Mwah. Okay.